So one relationship in this book so far that I'm finding really interesting, and I think it's a little bit overlooked, is the one between Anne and her sister Margot. Obviously, it goes super in depth into her relationships evolving, with her parents and Peter as well. Obviously, as she begins to start liking him, but how at the beginning she didn't really talk with Margot and they didn't really get along much. From my experience, at least, as just siblings in general seem to do. I'm an older brother myself. Then here on page 222, she mentions how that only recently, she and Margot had started talking together, and then a couple pages later here, when she's talking about the letters that they were writing to each other, how Margot's sort of saying that yes, it does bother her to an extent, but she's happy for her and Peter, becoming more friendly, more romantic towards each other. But also, I think it shows that siblings, compatriotism, how they're it's like you do compete with each other because you are your siblings, but you do want the best for them as well. And I think it also similarly shows in here that Anne was concerned about this too, and Anne was worried about one, what Margot would do or feel as a potential competitor, but two is that she's looking out for her sister's interests as well. And especially when they're confined up in this tight area, she does feel bad for her sister. That she doesn't exact Margot doesn't exactly have a lot of people to talk to, which I know it's hard to see just because my sister and I, we'd always had completely separate friend groups that we'd go talk to. Just never really did much together.